Hello, my name is David DeBusk, and again, today I'm coming to you from Texas. And I want to invite you to take a virtual trip with me today back in time. Within the next few minutes, you will travel the journey that was taken by Abraham, Moshe, Moses, the children of Israel, King David, Shlomo, Solomon, and the apostles. To many, this trip is difficult, traversing through harsh lands and over mountains, with each step impeded by obstacles, skepticism, and fraught with battles with opposing armies. Yet it is a glorious journey that leads to the kingdom of God. And let me warn you, only the wise will finish. We are told that the foolish will fall by the wayside. Folks, this is a divine journey, and the way is holy. In the 12th chapter of Genesis, we read that Yahweh said to Abram, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. In Genesis chapter 15, Yahweh states to Abraham, he says, to your descendants I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates. In Psalms 78, it states that God brought them to the border of his holy land, even to this mountain, which his right hand had acquired. He drove out the nations before them, and he divided them an inheritance by measurement. And he made the tribes of Israel dwell in their tents. In Leviticus chapter 25, Yahweh tells Moses, the land shall not be sold in perpetuity or permanently. For the land, he states, is mine. For you are strangers and sojourners with me. In 2 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 6, Solomon recalls the words that were spoken by Yahweh to his father David. I have chosen Jerusalem, that my name may abide there. In 2 Samuel chapter 7, we are told that Yahweh spoke to David, and he told him, I will raise up your own seed from you, who will come forth from your own loins, and I will establish his kingdom. He will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. We are told in 1 Kings that Solomon, the inner sanctuary that he prepared in the innermost part of the house to set the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh. The inner sanctuary was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 cubits high, and that Solomon overlaid it with pure gold. In the inner sanctuary he made 2 cherubim of olive wood, each 10 cubits high, or approximately 15 feet. 5 cubits was the length of one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits the length of the other wing of the cherub. It was 10 cubits from the tip of one wing to the tip of the other. The other cherub also measured 10 cubits. Both cherubim had the same measure and the same form. The height of one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was the other cherub. He put the cherubim in the innermost part of the house, and the wings of the cherubim were spread out so that the wing of one touched the one wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall. Their other wings touched each other in the middle of the house, and he overlaid the cherubim with gold. It was within the Holy of Holies that Solomon was going to set the Ark of God. And if you will recall, in the book of Exodus, Yahweh spoke to Moses, and he told him, he says, and they shall make an ark of acacia wood. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, and 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. Inside and out shalt thou overlay it, and thou shalt make upon it a gold molding round about. And thou shalt cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put them on the 4 corners thereof. Namely, 2 rings shall be on the one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side of it. And thou shalt make poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt insert the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark for carrying the ark. The poles shall remain in the ark. They shall not be removed from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the covenant which I will give thee. Then Yahweh told Moses, and thou shalt make a cover of pure gold. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, and a cubit in the height its width. And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold. Of hammered work shalt thou make them on the 2 ends of the cover, and make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. From the cover itself shall you make the cherubim on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim shall be spreading forth their wings on high, shielding the cover with their wings, with their faces turned one toward the other. Toward the cover shall the faces of the cherubim be directed, and thou shalt put the cover above upon the ark, and in the ark shalt thou put the covenant which I will give unto thee. Then Yahweh said, and I will meet with thee there, and I will speak with thee from above the cover, from between the 2 cherubim, which are upon the ark of the covenant, all that which I command thee concerning the children of Israel. In the 37th chapter of Isaiah, we find where Hezekiah prayed and said, O Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, who art enthroned above the cherubim. Thou art Elohim, thou alone of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. In the 4th chapter of Deuteronomy, we find where Moses addressed the entire assembly of Israel. And he says, so Yahweh declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to observe. That is, the 10 words. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. In Numbers chapter 4, Yahweh instructs Moses, saying, here's what the sons of Kohath are to do regarding the tent of appointment, the most holy things. When the camp is about to travel, Aaron and his sons shall come and take down the veil of separation, and they shall cover the ark of the covenant with it. They shall put over it a covering of badger skins, and they shall cover it with a cloth of pure blue. And then they shall insert the poles. We read in 1 Chronicles that the priests and the Levites consecrated themselves to bring up the ark of Yahweh, Elohim of Israel. And the Levites carried the ark of Elohim on their shoulders with the poles, as Moses had commanded according to the word of Yahweh. Folks, there is no way that anyone on earth can put a value to those 10 words that was inscribed upon those tablets. And yet we must remember that Yahweh states that he was going to make a new covenant with his people. In Ezekiel chapter 36, he states, and I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you, and I will take out your stony, stubborn heart, and I will give you a heart of flesh, one that is tender and responsive. And I will put my spirit into you, and I will cause you to follow my laws and to faithfully observe my ordinances. Now let us travel from the time of Ezekiel, approximately 650 years, to the time of the Apostle Paul. It was approximately 60 AD when he wrote to the assembly located in Rome. In chapter 7, verse 12, he wrote these words, so the law itself is holy, and each command is holy, just, and good. In chapter 3, Paul asked the Roman assembly this question, do we then nullify the law by this faith? And then he answered, God forbid. Rather, we uphold the law. Just like the Levites who carried the law upon their shoulders, we too are to esteem and uphold the law. In Paul's first letter to the Corinthians in chapter 3, he asked them a question. He said, "Do you not know that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwells in you?" And people, you may not know this, but according to the new covenant, your heart is the ark of the covenant. According to Scripture, you are a priest of God. Peter wrote that you also, as living stones, are being built into a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh through Yeshua Messiah. And then he went on to say, you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Folks, as a priest of God, you are charged with the responsibility to teach the law. In Leviticus chapter 10, we are told that Yahweh spoke to Aaron, saying, "Wine and strong drink shalt thou not drink, neither thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tent of appointment, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, so that you may be able to distinguish between the holy and the unholy, and between the unclean and clean, and that you may be able to teach the children of Yisrael all the laws which Yahweh hath spoken unto them by the hand of Moses." What I have just said may seem strange to many of you, but listen to the words of Yeshua as recorded in the book of Matthew, chapter 5. "Do not suppose that I have come to do away with the law or the prophets. I have not come to do away with them, but to enforce them. For I tell you, as long as heaven and earth endure, not one dotting of an I or a crossing of a T will be dropped from the law, until it is all observed. Anyone, therefore, who weakens one of the slightest of these commands and teaches others to do so will be ranked lowest in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who observes them and teaches others to do so will be ranked high in the kingdom of heaven." The Apostle Peter stated that even though now for a little while, if necessary, you have been grieved by various kinds of trials, so that the proven character of your faith, which is more valuable than gold, which passes away even though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. In Hebrew, the word faith is an action verb. Thus, your faith is proven by your love and obedience to Yahweh. Peter is saying that the character of your faith is more valuable than all the gold that was covering the walls and the furniture and the vessels that was within the ancient temple. Please listen to me carefully. If there is one thing that this world needs to learn, it's that Yahweh's throne, his rule, and his reign rest upon his law. His law is holy, and it is the eternal foundation of his government in heaven and on earth.